Hey, what's up, guys? It's me. It's me coming back here with a kind of a bar by bar little video in reference to May 30th's trades that I have taken. I've taken two trades in AVGO and PLTR. I'm gonna kind of bar by bar them here for you, so you guys can kind of get a grasp of what I was trying to trade and how I was trying to trade it. And before we go into that, I'll just go ahead and go into basically essentially the futures to kind of show you guys like the sentiment that we've been having. So to me personally, I feel like a sort of short-term top has been put in the market on NQ, and I feel like ES is more clear because ES is a flat number, which is 6,000. I don't know if ES has it in itself to get above 6,000. There seems to be some sort of huge blockade. It's also a psych level, and we're just having really big issues trying to get above that level. So because of that, I came in today with thoughts on AVGO shorts, and I'll go over AVGO first before I go into the PLTR trade. Now, the reason why I went ahead and wanted to take AVGO short is because I thought that semis kind of need to rest because they're a huge factor in the market being up, right? Semiconductors, if semiconductors are doing well, the market's going to do extremely well. And if semiconductors are not doing well, the market's not going to do well. So, in my opinion, I'm looking at AVGO and I'm like, look at this huge ramp. I mean, we are talking about, from the highs, if we go from the lows to the highs, you know what is that, 78%? Is that what it's saying? Like, is that real life? Like, dude, this is a ridiculous move in such a short amount of time. 75% on the day, you know, if you go into today. That is so ridiculous when you actually think about it, that I was like, you know, maybe we're going to get a little bit of a rest here to close out the month. Maybe we're going to kind of like fade off a bit. And we kind of got that. So I'll go into my entries, because that was my thoughts, right? My thoughts is ES hit that 6K level. It can't seem to budge over it. So with that being said, I think that it can either fade or start going sideways. And then I feel like semiconductors needs a breather. Now, I know AVGO has earnings, which is also something I wanted to go ahead and discuss. Because AVGO has earnings, I'm thinking that the way that they can set it up, if they were trying to, is that they can bring the price action down. If they have good earnings, they'll surge it up. Because the more that it hangs up, like up here, I don't know. Like, yeah, theoretically, this is I think this is the strongest semiconductor. So I guess theoretically speaking, if it kind of consolidates, you know, kind of above this area, let's give it the highs of, you know, let's just give it right here, right? So I'm walking, you know, this with you guys live here. So let's give it like this kind of area. If this area becomes its base throughout earnings, which is next week, I think it's on the 6th or the 5th. I think it's on Thursday. Thursday of next week is when earnings. So the 5th. If this starts making, you know, this 35-ish area, you know, give it 235.50s a base, and earnings comes in, we might see AVGO crush over all-time highs. You know, that's a very possible thing. I don't know if I want to toy around with this name into next week. But with that being said, let's get on with the trade. So my goal was looking at AVGO, and off the gate, I immediately got short. Basically, I got short right here. Right off this break at 932, right here. That's where I got short because we have VWAP pressuring it down. And keep in mind, I was trying to play this for a swing opportunity into next week if dealing with weakness. So we had this nice short come in. We're failing. We get to previous day lows, and I'm sitting back thinking to myself, dude, I have a really good swing position. You know, this is very nice. Am I gonna get a full push down? Like, what's going on? Like, what? Like, I couldn't have set this any better. So we get this down. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have such a B swing trade. Then we pop all the way up to my entry. The benefit is the way that I was sized. I didn't have a ton on. So when this went against me, I honestly wasn't even really stressing the position. As long as this area was not letting go, there was no reason for me to stop out of my trade. Even though this is a V shape, had I been day trading this trade, I would have 100%, gotten out here. It makes no sense to give back all the gains. I ended up doing that. I gave back all the gains, and it started going. I still have my position on. I'm down. I'm not really stressed about it or worried about it. But what ends up becoming really interesting here is we start getting rejections at previous day close, and we cannot get above the pre-market high, which is this red line right here. So this is the pre-market high. We're not getting above that. As soon as we fail this trend line here, I add into my position. This is now a full size position for me, and now I'm going to treat this as a day trade. The reason why I'm going to treat this as a day trade now instead of a swing trade is because I started noticing Nvidia. Look how weak Nvidia was. And let me see, I want to put AVGO. Can I do this really quick? Let's see. Just want to break this down properly. So let me unlink this. Let's put AVGO here. So what I'm looking at now is I'm seeing the relative weakness in Nvidia, and as we're getting this kind of pop here on Nvidia, I'm like, okay, well, Nvidia is definitely relatively weak, but it's not getting over the pre-market lows, and as soon as this starts rolling, AVGO kind of follows suit. Even though AVGO is the strongest semiconductor right now, Nvidia still has a huge weight in the NQ, in the ES. And this is 1032. So let's see what the ES was doing at 1032. So at 1032 on ES, let me dash ES. There we go. At 1032, we're rejecting previous day's close and pre-market highs. So we're getting these rejections stepping in. NQ was also relatively weak here. So I felt kind of comfortable with getting a nice little add on my AVGO position right here. So let me go ahead and go back to AVGO. Let me maximize. So we get this nice little bear flag break, and then we just get rolling. And I'm just like, okay, the next spot I need to look at is, this is my average, right? So I want to see if we flush out and we can hold under my average, which is right here. So we get the nice flush out at VWAP. We're going. We curl back up. We get another flush. And after I see this flush and then these two next candles stay heavy, as soon as we failed VWAP, I knew that I had it. And then we get this extra little kind of bear flag here where we kind of move up kind of towards VWAP, and then we flush out. We give up the pre-market lows again, which is this blue line. And we completely flush out under previous day lows. I cleared out of my position right here. I got out at 236. We'll give it like 60-ish area. Somewhere around this vicinity. And it definitely in this flush candle on the lower end is where I got out of the position completely. Now, had I been trying to hold this for a swing, with the size that I did have, I would have 100% taken a stop loss right here. This is where my stop would have been if I had gone ahead and took it for the swing. But, I changed up my strategy. I went with more of a day trade approach. And, it paid off because at the end of the day, we got a mean V-shape. This is like an end of month just bid up. I mean, we flew up higher. You can see that just essentially across the board. I mean, it was absolutely insane. So, if I had to go ahead and digest what this trade was, I was essentially trading, a breakdown of 240.80's level, right? For a possible swing opportunity that I did not get. Risk back up. Keep in mind I didn't have full size on this, so it going against me. I wasn't even down 1% in my portfolio when it was up here. So in my whole portfolio, I was not even down 1% yet. So, sizing accordingly, and things just work out sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is what it is. I know some people be like, wow, man, you gave back so much, for this V shape. And I get it, man. you know, I'm not gonna sit here and argue, but when you're going for a swing trade, you're going for a swing trade. It's only until I got my full size on that I had to kind of treat this like a day trade now. Like I had to be locked in and kind of focused because I just did not want to turn a full size position, knowing that earnings is going into next week, kind of into a swing. So I just took my shot and ended up working out. Full scaled here, wrote it all the way down to here, and that's essentially the trade. Relative weakness was across the market, and that's how I traded that on AVGO. Good little trade. Semiconductors across the board did get weak, all kind of at the same time. The easier trade was actually MU, and I had written about it the prior day, but I didn't go ahead and take it, and this was so much easier. I mean, such an easier trade. Failing the 200 daily simple moving average, you know, flushes down previous day's low. It's already showing weakness. Why was this not the name that I wanted to hunt? Why would I go with the relatively strong name? It makes absolutely no sense. Sometimes the brain is wired like that, but this was the A+ opportunity if you were wanting to short the semiconductors. Flush out on the previous day low, heavy under VWAP, losing the 200 SMA, losing the pre-market lows. And you can't ask for more for MU. Unfortunately, I didn't trade that, but you live, you learn, and that's all you can do. Let's talk about PLTR. PLTR actually had a loser on today. I had a loser and a winner. So we'll go ahead and discuss PLTR right now. We'll go here so you guys can kind of see where I got entered in better. So for PLTR, it was quite simple. I got in short off of the fail right here, which is the daily 10 SMA. I'm sorry for the ums, but I got in shorting the failure on the daily 10 SMA. We're failing, and then we start to hold the daily 20 SMA. We pop back up. We're going. I'm like, PLTR was supposed to be a swing for me as well, because I'm assuming that a speculative name is going to stay weak. Trump had some news that came out for PLTR, which ended up surging this name. So we had a huge kind of move down, nicely up on this position. We're moving back up, hits my stop. Nothing I can do about it. It was this I was a bit sized on, so this was actually a 1% hit on my portfolio. I took a 1% loss on this. The AVGO trade made me 4% of my total portfolio. So I took a 1% hit here, but I did go ahead and re-enter on the breakdown of previous day highs. So we had this fade. I know some people will be like, wow, you got in like here. Why not like kind of get up here in the 30s area? You know, it just is what it is. That's where I caught it. I was like, listen, it's starting to reject previous day highs again. So I basically got in short here. Give it like 30s. I think, yeah, like 37 probably. I was in at like 37. My stop was previous day highs. And I immediately, I mean, we got this rolling instantaneously. I covered right into this move. Like right here, I was out of the position. Actually, a little bit lower because I covered just near 24. So I apologize. I covered right here on this candle. This made, I didn't have the same size that I had here, but this did make me back the majority of the 1% loss. I think it was like, might have made like 0.8 R or 0.8% of my portfolio. So ended up being a pretty good day. I mean, in totality, I think I was up, you know, like something like 3.8% or 4%ish or something like that in my portfolio based on those positions. Of course, we did get a nice rally at the end of the day. I mean, it's just across the board, really. I mean, PLTR, Apple, I mean, everything kind of had a nice surge. I think Microsoft got to like previous day highs. Yeah, got to previous day highs. I mean, just everything across the board end of month ended up surging. So just to engage in what I did in PLTR, took the daily 20 SMA failure, wrote it down, popped back up off of the 20 daily, stopped out a little bit over the highs, and then surged, came back previous day highs, used that failure as a leg down, covered into that, AVGO, you guys understood that concept, and that's basically what I did trade today. I hope you guys kind of did enjoy the video. That's just a kind of a breakdown video. Not really the best trades, considering I did think that we were going to have a bigger downshift in the market. But we'll see into next week what's going to go ahead and happen. I might end up doing a little breakdown of what I think the possibilities are. It's going to be a fresh month, I believe. So we'll definitely see that. Maybe sometime this weekend, I'll go ahead and upload a video on basically my thoughts and everything about the market conditions. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys, leave a comment, subscribe. If you guys have any questions, I appreciate. And I will go ahead and answer any questions you guys do have. But that is it here for me today. I'm out of here. Stay safe.